y'all, it's Kim. So this is the Robert Hur Classified Documents report against Joe Biden. This is chapter 4. I mean, obviously, with all the stuff that's coming out about Joe Biden, it'd be a perfect time to go through this whole thing. I've never read it. I posted the actual transcript of the interview he did with him. But this is it has the audio and the transcript together, so that you can go back through and look at my list of videos. It's in there, the whole thing. I think it's like maybe 10 hours or something, but whatever. You can take a look at it if you're so inclined. But this is the actual report from the aftermath of the interview. But anyway, so let's get started. This is chapter 4. It says Mr. Biden's classified note cards and notebooks. In addition to the marked classified documents Mr. Biden received through the president's daily brief, classified briefing books, and other avenues, he also regularly created classified documents in the form of his own handwritten notes. Throughout the 8 years of the Obama administration, Mr. Biden took notes during classified meetings and about classified information in notebooks on note cards. Although the substantive information in the notebooks and note cards was similar and similarly classified, the notebooks and note cards were handled differently both during the administration and after. During the Obama administration, Mr. Biden's staff regularly collected and reviewed his note cards to determine if they contained classified information, and so they could eventually be archived as presidential records. At the end of the administration, Mr. Biden's staff arranged for him to store most of his classified note cards, which contained notes on the president's daily brief and other classified information, in a SCIF at the National Archives. In contrast, Mr. Biden held his notebooks close, and his staff did not review them. After the administration, Mr. Biden brought his notebooks home with him and stored them in unsecured locations that were not authorized to store classified information, even though the notebooks, like the note cards, contained classified information. Some information in the notebooks remain classified up to the top secret level and includes sensitive compartmented information, including from compartments used to protect information concerning human intelligence sources. Mr. Biden's note cards. It says, as Vice President, Mr. Biden carried and took notes on note cards every day. Mr. Biden regularly took notes on 4-inch by 7 by 5-inch note cards. Many of them had the vice president or the office of the vice president printed at the top. So there's examples of that. And then it says, this is just a footnote. It says Mr. Biden's staffers printed a copy of his schedule on a note card for him to carry and refer to each day. He also had staffers print other information on note cards, such as the number of troops who had died during the war in Afghanistan and talking points for meetings and speeches. Sorry. Mr. Biden carried the note cards in his inner jacket pocket, and he referred to them throughout the day and jotted down notes on them. Mr. Biden also carried blank note cards that he used to take notes. According to staffers, he used the note cards to take notes during and after meetings. Okay, so here's an example of him. Looks like he's got it up close to his mouth, maybe just probably thinking or whatever. I don't know. Not excusing, just saying. It says Mr. Biden with handwritten note cards. June 30th of 2010, and then there's, I guess, all the notes on that. Okay, in addition to taking notes in unclassified settings, Mr. Biden used note cards to take notes on a variety of classified meetings and briefings, including the president's daily brief, situation room meetings, and other briefings from the intelligence community. Mr. Biden's note cards were collected and organized by staff. Mr. Biden's front office staff regularly collected his note cards. Generally, Mr. Biden handed them to his personal aide or staff assistants or left them in an outbox on the desk in his office, where his front staff collected material at each day's end. Staff then organized the note cards by date or topic so that Mr. Biden could reference them. Front office staff stored the note cards in their work area outside of Mr. Biden's West Wing office. When note cards contained notes related to foreign policy meetings or other potentially classified information, Mr. Biden's staff turned them over to the National Security Affairs team, who stored them in a secure location. At times, the National Security Affairs team marked some of the note cards as classified. Mr. Biden also marked some of his own note cards as classified. And then C, Mr. Biden wanted to take copies of his note cards when he left office to help write his book. As explained in Chapter 5, in the final years of his vice presidency, Mr. Biden began writing a memoir about his time in office. When conceiving of and writing the book, Mr. Biden worked with the ghostwriter Mark Swanitzer. In 2016, Swanitzer reached out to Mr. Biden's staff and requested help with locating Mr. Biden's journals and notes that would be helpful in writing the book. As he approached the end of his vice presidency, Mr. Biden sought to keep copies of his note cards and other records for use in the book writing process. According to a staffer involved in the project, Mr. Biden wanted to take copies of the note cards so that he didn't have to go to the National Archives every day to help write his book. In late September 2016, Swanitzer emailed Mr. Biden's chief of staff to schedule an interview with Mr. Biden. Swanitzer said he wanted to cover very specific topics and timeframes, and said he would tell you exactly what ground, the time period I want to cover in the session, so the VP could have relevant notes, diaries, etc. with him when we talk. And there's more of the footnotes here. And let's see, around this time, or same time, Mr. Biden's staff made copies of the note cards and organized them into binders so that he could take them after he left office. The notes were organized by topic or date. For example, one binder contained copies of notes Mr. Biden took during President's daily briefs and his lunches with President Obama. The binder contains notes on classified meetings and information. So copies of the note card regarding lunches with President Obama. So other binders contained copies of Mr. Biden's note cards organized by year. More footnotes. Okay, so you can see the tabs here. This is interesting. Okay, copies of note cards organized by year. In addition to note cards, some of the binders contain copies of Mr. Biden's schedule and other material. So you see all this handwritten stuff with highlights, and some of this looks typewritten. Copies of note cards and Mr. Biden's schedules. Okay, so D, near the end of the administration, staff determined that some of the note cards contained classified information. The council and the office of the vice president were involved in reviewing the copies of the note cards Mr. Biden wanted to take with him after his vice presidency. While reviewing the note cards, an associate counsel noticed that some of them contained notes about the president's daily brief. Although the associate counsel did not see any classified marking or classification markings, she understood the president's daily brief was classified and was concerned about a non-classified copier because a non-classified copier had been used to make the copies. Okay, so the associate counsel raised the issue with the executive secretary team, which, as explained in Chapter 3, was responsible for the delivery and handling of classified material in the office of the president or vice president. Email correspondence from early October 2016 indicates the note cards were temporarily stored in the Deputy National Security Advisor's office until the lawyers determined the appropriate steps. In an interview, the Deputy National Security Advisor recalled reviewing materials at the end of the administration to understand what was classified or not. More footnotes. And then soon after, military detailee working on the executive secretary team raised her own concerns about the handling of Mr. Biden's note cards after leaving after learning that Mr. Biden wanted copies of the note cards for use in writing his book after the administration had ended. The detailee raised concerns that the notes contained classified material commingled with Mr. Biden's personal notes. According to the detailee, the executive secretary, Kristen Backotic, I don't know, who is also on detail from the military, disagreed and concluded the notes belonged to the vice president and should be made available to him without restriction. Because Backotic, I don't know how you say that name, outranked the detailee sent an email to herself for the record in which she explained her belief that the notes were being mishandled and documented her request not to participate in any project or meeting that involved these records. Okay. So I guess this is the actual email. It says for the record, on October 18th, 2016, in the Office of the Vice President's National Security Affairs Office, there began a discussion of the use and disposition of Vice President's notes. These notes, which are currently being stored in the EEOB Room 291, contain classified information that is commingled with personal notes of the Vice President. They cover a span of several years. None of the notes have classification markings or are otherwise indicated as containing classified information. The determination of classified content was made by the Deputy National Security Advisor after reviewing the content. Kristen Backotic, the Vice President's Executive Secretary, insists that the notes belong to the Vice President and should be made available to him without restriction. She has indicated that she is aware that these notes will be used during this book writing process, but she is confident that he, the Vice President, understands which information is classified and which information is not. Kristen has stated that these notes should be subjected to the regulations of the Presidential Records Act because they fall under the category of personal notes. She has stated that the Vice President can keep these notes, including the classified portions, without redaction after the administration is ended. She has repeatedly stated that his position as the Vice President of the United States excludes him from the guidance that other members of the administration are required to adhere to. I do not agree with Kristen Backotic. I believe these records are being mishandled. However, Kristen is my superior officer and I'm not in a position to challenge her authority. I have requested to not participate in any project or meeting that involves these records. Detailee's email for the record, October 18, 2016. So obviously somebody is paying attention. Anyways, as when interviewed by her office, the detailee said she believed providing the notes to Mr. Biden after the administration without restriction would be outside of the protocols and policies that have been put in place for our office for safeguarding the material. The detailee did not recall the ultimate disposition of the note cards or whether the discussion percolated up to Mr. Biden. As for Backotic, I'm probably not saying her name right, but either way, it doesn't matter. Backotic, during an interview with office, she said that she did not recall ever taking the position that Mr. Biden could take classified notes home with him after his vice presidency. According to Backotic, she believed in the fall of 2016, when the detailee wrote her email, that there was still time for Mr. Biden to review his notes and get the information he needed in a secure fashion before the administration ended. She also did not recall, of course, I would say that, she also did not recall ever advising Mr. Biden that he could retained classified notes after his term in office. It said it was not her role to advise the vice president about classified record handling, nor did she recall anyone else in the Obama administration taking the position that Mr. Biden could take classified material home with him in an unsecure environment after the vice presidency. Based on her training, she knew the classified materials were supposed to be stored in a secure facility. A memorandum from the National Security Council sent to all office of the vice president's staff in December 2016 and January of 2017 confirmed this understanding, instructing that meeting notes and classified notes of any kind are not personal notes, and that only classified person or unclassified personal records could be removed from the White House at the end of the administration, though there is no evidence this guidance was ever communicated to Mr. Biden. I'm going to stop here and then just do a second video on this because I don't want it to cut off on me. But anyway, I'll talk to y'all later. I'll get this loaded up as soon as I can. See y'all. Bye.